Morning, everyone. How are you guys doing today? Good. Sleepy, tired. So the instructor side elevator, students are supposed to use that. Students have their own elevator on the other side of the building, but for some reason, probably students don't know about their elevator. So they use our elevator. As a result, it's a huge line. Every day we have to do. So that's how I like today. From next time, I'll try to come earlier. Okay. Any question before we start? Any comments? Any questions from the homework? Did you do the homework? Great. I'm going to keep monitoring the homework, and then I'm going to actually call you in class if you don't do your homework. Okay? So in front of everyone, I'll say, why you didn't do your homework? It's a kind of shaming you in front of everyone, so that you are forced to do the homework. Okay? So I'm just giving a warning. So, in our last class, we started section 3.5. Yeah. And we said in this section, there are several scenario we are going to work with. One of the scenario we did in our last class, where we are given 2 points and we have to find the equation of the line that goes through that point. And the steps we said, first find the slope because we don't see the slope here. So find the slope using the slope formula. Once you have the slope, you take one of the given 2 points, only 1 point you take, and the slope, and plug it into point slope format. So we got the line by plugging everything there, but based on the multiple choice, you see that you don't have what they're asking you to have. So you modify your function, you bring x and y together in one side, and you constant to the other side. And since we don't have any fraction, so if you have a fraction, you need to get rid of your fraction by multiplying every term by the denominator or the LCD of the denominator. And if you end up getting a negative x, that means you have to move your x from negative side to the positive side. So your x cannot be negative, and you cannot have any fraction in your equation. Okay. So today we're going to do the second scenario where the slope will be given and 1 point will be given. So what's the equation of the line that has this slope and it goes through that particular point? So in here, we are going to follow the exact same rules as we did in first scenario. The only difference is in the first scenario, they did not give us the slope, so we had to find the slope manually. But in here, they already gave us the slope, so you're not going to do the first step from that scenario. So we are going to start from the second step. We are going to plug the slope and the point into point slope format and simplify. Okay. And in the exam, you're going to see all the scenarios. So let's do this example by following the rules. And I'm going to take attendance after this question. So they gave us a point somewhere -4, 1. I'm just showing you the visualization of what is happening. 1, 2, 3, 4. -4 is here, 1 is here. So this is the point given, and they gave us the slope -7/2. So from this point, you go -7 units down, 2 units to the right, and then let's see, somewhere here, you have your you can find another point here, and then whatever line that is, that's the equation of the line you're looking for. But we are not going to use the slope to get 1 point to another point. Instead, we are going to use the point slope format to get the equation of the line. So point slope format says y minus y1 and then slope times x minus x1. They gave us our slope is negative 7/2 and they gave us x1, y1 as negative 4, 1. So this is x1, this is y1. Anytime they give us a point that includes x1, y1. And we will never going to substitute x and y because in the equation, we want to have x and y. If you observe the multiple choices, they all have x and y and a number. So we have to keep our x and y, but substitute everything else. So y minus what? Y minus y1, 1. And then what is our slope? They gave us the slope, right? Negative 7/2 x minus negative 4. Perfect. Just because your 4 has a negative, it doesn't mean you're going to write only x minus 4. It's x minus and then negative 4. So what happens to the double negative? It turns into positive. So we have y minus 1 negative 7/2 x plus 4. We actually found our equation of the line, but still we cannot stop. Why not? What's the reason that we have to keep going on? Exactly. Look at all the choices they gave us. Multiple choices. They want us to write down in standard form. It means bring x and y together next to one another and constant alone. X cannot be negative and we cannot have any fraction in our equation. So what do you think is our next step to fulfill our desired format, to get to a desired format? What is our next step? Distribute. We don't want to work with multiplication, so we distribute. We have y minus 1 negative 7/2 x and then negative 7/2 times 4. So what is negative 7/2 times 4? Do you multiply the 4 both top and bottom, or do you multiply the 4 only on the top? Only on the top. Good. So on the top, we have negative. What is 7 times 4? 20? 28. So y minus 1 negative 7/2 x minus 28 over 2. But 2 is an even number. That means we can divide 28 by 2. 14. 2 goes to 2 once. 2 goes to 8 4 times. So y minus 1 negative 7/2 x minus 14. What do you think our next step is? There are many ways you can do next step. Go ahead. Since our 14 is a whole number, so we can actually add 1 here directly. So we have y equals negative 7/2 x, negative 14 positive 1, minus 13. So this is called slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. But they're not asking for slope-intercept. They're asking for standard. So what do you do next? There are two choices. It's up to you which one you want to do first. What do you want to do first? Standard format says to do, in standard format, what do you want? No fraction. So let's get rid of the fraction first. How can you get rid of the 2 from the denominator? Multiply. But we cannot just multiply one term. We have to multiply every term. So as a result, the 2 denominator get cancelled out. We have no more fraction. We have 2y equals negative 7x and 13 times 2, 26. And now you're almost done, only one step left. If you divide by 2, you end up getting the fraction again. We want x and y next to one another. So we add the 7x to both sides. And now we are happy because we have 7x and 2y next to one another. 7x is a positive and we have no fraction left. What do you have on the other side? Negative 26. And now we are done. This is the standard form. Standard form. So we have positive x and y next to one another. No fraction. What do you have on the other side? Even here, it could be a positive number, it could be a negative number. But we don't want to see a fraction. So once you get your answer, now it's time to pick your choices. Which one you think is the correct answer? A, B, C, D. Which one? This is A, B, C, D. Which one is the correct multiple choice? C. So you pick your C. So in the final exam, you're going to write down the letter and then start calling your correct answer. Any question? Was any part unclear? So there are only 2 steps here. Substitute and simplify. When you simplify, simplification has many steps like distribute the slope, combine the numbers, get rid of the fraction, combine x and y together in one side. So your simplification step has many steps, but in general, there are only 2 steps. Substitute into the point slope format and simplify. Now you try one. I don't want to take that sentence. Brianna Almonte? No. Christina Castillo? Catherine Coronel? Jolene Dong? Govan? Maybe I wrote the wrong one. it's the right one. Madison Fields. Madison. Eric. Abraham. Stephanie. Leandra. Robert. I'm totally confused. Eliza. Sergio. Miley. Okay. So this is C. Should be. Okay. Janisha. Eliza. Maimuna. Fabricio. Sergio. Miley. Henlart. Guzman. Oliver. Himadri. Mustafa. Jacqueline. Gia. Jiain. Ma. Ellison. Ellison Martinez. Anaya. Anaya, right? Jason. Atsiri. Anthony. Joseph. Kitleli or Sitleli? Ki or Si? Seida. Muhammad. Ronaldo. Can I just call you Ray? Your middle name is Ray, right? Or it's a part Ronaldo Ray? Okay. Okay. Daniel. Riza. Shahid. No. Jeremiah here. Camila. Philia. Haley. Jasim. Yusuf. Jasim. No. Okay, I had two Jeremiah. Jeremiah Steele and Jeremiah Jakiv. Which one is you? Steele. Okay. So Jeremiah Jakiv. No. Did I call all of your names, guys? Is there anybody whose name I did not call? Well, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Let's see, 24, 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Ready? So what do you do first? Jeremiah. Maya. Is it Jeremiah or Jeremiah? Maya, right? Jeremiah. Y minus y1 slope x minus x1. So what did you substitute here? Y minus 0, 1/2 x minus minus 2. So that turns into plus. So we have 1/2 x plus 2. And what is y minus 0? It's simply y. It looks much easier. Okay, let me call someone else for the next step. Jacqueline. Tell me the next step, please. What happened? Okay, go ahead. From here, what do you do? So we distribute the 1/2 here. So we get y equals 1/2 of x plus 1/2 of 2. So how much is 1/2 of 2? How much is half of 2? 1. So y equals 1/2 plus x plus 1. Maimuna, next step. Go ahead. So 1/2 times x is 1/2 x, and 1/2 times 2 is half of 1/2. I'm talking about the second part when it's 1/2 x plus 1/2 and then well, I use logic. So what you can do is you can write 1/2 of 2 means you're multiplying, you're multiplying 1 and 2. So you get 2/2. But what is 2/2? Just 1. So I use logic here. We have half of 2. What is half of 2? It's 1. Okay, Maimuna, next step. What do you do from there? Remember, our goal is to bring x and y together and no fraction, no negative for x. So we don't want the fraction, so we multiply all the term by 2. So that helps us to get rid of the denominator. We have 2y equals x plus 2. So almost done. We just want x and y next to one another. So what do you do? But we have a problem now. We don't want our x to be negative. How do you have negative? Good catch. I messed up my coefficients. It's negative x plus 2y. So would you like to tell me the next step? We don't want our x to be negative. Almost, but we don't want to start our day with something negative. Same thing, we want to start our equation with something negative. So we always want our x to be positive. So if you have a negative, what can you do to turn into a positive? Multiply. multiply the entire equation by a negative or -1. So everything will switch their signs. X will turn into positive, Y will turn into negative, and 2 will turn into negative. While we don't care about the rest, we only care about X. We want our X definitely to be positive. This question is much easier than the previous one, right? So any question on any of the steps we did? No questions?
No. It can be X minus 2y.
X minus 2y equals -2. It's minus because when you multiply by negative, everything will change their sign.
No, but I thought it was plus.
So here we have 2y equals x. We brought x from right to the left, so x turned into negative, right? So negative x plus 2y.
I mean, the results, I didn't know it could be negative.
Anything could be negative, but we want our x to be positive. So you don't have to turn your x to be positive. The rest can be negative. We don't care about the rest. We only care about the sign for the beginning, the first term, which is x. Any other question? Then let's go to the next scenario. Where we are not going to do any math because we are going to do XY plane. So the third scenario, a point is given and they're asking us to find the horizontal line that goes to the point and the vertical line that goes to the point. Okay. So since they did not give us the slope or they didn't give us anything else, so anytime either they don't give you a slope or something is missing, that means you don't have to do math to do them. You just need visualization. So I'm going to draw the XY plane here. This is X, this is Y. Where do we have the point for -4? It's in the first, second, third, fourth. Which quadrant? 4, -4. Is it here or there or there or there? Here. We are going 4 units to the right for the X value, and then for Y, we are going 4 units bottom. So it's in the fourth quadrant. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 on the right, 4 on the bottom. That's the point 4, -4. So this question is asking, find the equation of the horizontal line that passes through that point. My point is a little bit up. Let me put it a little bit down. Here. So how can you draw a horizontal line that goes to this point? Is the horizontal line goes this way or that way? Left to right, right? So all you have to do is draw the line from left to right of this point. So this is the horizontal line you're looking for. But they're asking to write down, give them the equation of the line. So what's the equation of this horizontal line? Y equals what is here? So see, this is y equals -1, -2, -3, -4. So this horizontal line has the equation y equals -4. See, that's all you have to do. First visualize what they give us and then give them the equation. Now something extra. What is the slope of this line? What is the slope of any horizontal line? 0. They didn't ask us, but this is extra to help us to do one question later where we need the slope. So who is confused? Is anybody confused with this question?
Yeah, the -4.
So the point is x4 and y -4. So plot this point. x4, y -4. So this is the point, and now you have to draw a horizontal line that goes through this point. Horizontal line means it goes straight left and right on this point. So you draw the line, and now you find the equation. So this is y equals -1, y equals -2, -3, -4. Our line is on the y equals -4 point. So its equation is y equals -4. Do I have the next one? Okay. Now something extra more. What if I ask you, what would be the equation of the vertical line that goes through this point? Wonderful. So vertical line, my point seems a little bit off. Here. So vertical line is a line that goes straight up and down. So if they ask you to write a line that is vertical, so this would be the vertical line. And if you observe, it's going through the x value 1, 2, 3, 4. So x value 4 is using this line. So equation of any vertical line is x equals some number. In here, it's the number 4. And what is the slope of any vertical line? Undefined. So our slope is undefined. They didn't ask us, but we did extra. And vertical line. So the green one is a horizontal line. Horizontal line. And the purple one is a vertical line. So these are too easy. Usually they don't ask this question in the exam. Final exam, usually. Okay? But you'll see this in your homework and probably in the quiz. Now you try one. Same concept, but their wording is a little bit tricky. It says find the equation of the line that has undefined slope. What type of line has undefined slope? So see, they could simply say find the vertical line, equation of the vertical line, vertical, but they didn't say that. What's the equation of the vertical line that goes to that point? Simple word, but see, they made some tricky ones. So try this. Find the equation of the line that has undefined slope and it goes through the point -1/2, -5. Do I have more? No. And then you're going to get the parallel perpendicular line. I guess done. Sorry. Man, what's wrong with me today? Yeah, like when I saw your face, like. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1/2 is somewhere here, and 5 is here. So negative 1/2, negative 5. Okay. So how are you going to draw the vertical line? This way or that way? Up and down. So from here, you go straight up and straight down. That gives us the vertical line. What's the equation of the vertical line? It's going through what? X value, negative 1/2. So that's it. It's not touching any y-axis. So it cannot have any regular equation. It has to be only x equals negative 1/2. Oliver, you look kind of confused. Ask me a question. You're fine? Then help me to find the equation of the horizontal line. If I ask you to draw a horizontal line that goes to this point, how are you going to draw the line? So horizontal line goes straight to left and right. And what's the equation of the horizontal line? You see it's touching only the y below negative 5, or x they didn't touch. So it's simply y equals negative 5. Easy, right? Since it's very easy, so probably in the final exam you're not going to see it. But definitely what you're going to see is the next concept. Parallel and perpendicular lines. So two lines are parallel if they have the same slope. What type of line we have? If one line is increasing, its parallel line must be also an increasing line. If one line is decreasing, its parallel also has to be a decreasing line. If one line is horizontal, other line also has to be horizontal. It's parallel line. If one line is vertical, its parallel line must be another vertical line. So you see, in order to guarantee that they're never going to touch one another, we must have the exact same slope. We're going to have different y-intercepts, but the slope must be same. So parallel lines have the same slope. On the other hand, perpendicular lines, they intersect, but they intersect with a 90-degree angle. So in order to guarantee that 90-degree angle in the intersection, they have to have completely opposite slope. So if one line is increasing, it means our slope is positive. Its perpendicular line must have to be a negative slope, must have to have a negative slope. So positive slope, negative slope. So their sign has to be different, and the number must be flipped to guarantee this intersection to have a 90-degree angle. If one line is going horizontal, its perpendicular must go which direction? Vertical. So you have a 90-degree angle. See? So horizontal line has a slope 0. Vertical line has a slope undefined. They are opposite of one another. And the interesting thing is that if you multiply the two slope of the perpendicular lines, their product is always -1. For example, let's say this slope is 2. That means that line has to have slope -1/2. So they have to have opposite sign and flipped fraction or flipped number. And if you multiply them, M1 times M2, we have +2 times -1/2. What is half of 2? 1. And what is plus times minus? Plus times a minus. Negative. So see, if you multiply these two slopes, what's the result? -1. So that's the interesting thing. If you multiply the slope of two perpendicular lines, the product is always -1. So in your exam, let's say you see one slope and you determine the slope of the other one. In order to make sure you got the slope correct, always multiply them to see if their product is -1 or not. If the product is not -1, that means the slope you got for the perpendicular line is wrong. So you can check yourself. Now let's do some example. That brings us to fourth scenario, where we are going to find the slope of the parallel or perpendicular line of a given line. So it says find the slope of a line parallel and perpendicular to this given line. So this line is a decreasing line. We don't know its slope. We want to find the slope of its parallel line and slope of its perpendicular line. Okay. So in order to find the slope of the parallel and perpendicular line, what do we must have to see in this line? What's going to help us to find the slope of the parallel and perpendicular line from this given line? How do I know this line is a decreasing line? Which trick I used? How do I know this? What does it mean for, how do I know from this format that it's going to have a negative, it's going to have a decreasing line? You're very close. Good. How do we know anytime that a line is increasing or decreasing? What do you look at? The slope, right? The slope tells us what types of line you're going to have. So I know that slope of this line is negative. How do I know? I calculated this mentally. So you're not going to do this mentally, you're going to do this visually, manually, okay? So step one, in order to get the slope of the parallel perpendicular line, we need to see what's the slope this line. Because only slope tells us whether they are parallel, perpendicular, or neither, okay? So we need the slope. Since they did not give us the slope, so in order to see the slope, we are going to use the trick we used in the very first of at the beginning, last week. How do we find slope from a standard form? What do? We convert the equation into slope-intercept form. So we need to convert into y equals mx plus b format. Only this format tells us our slope. So in order to get our y alone, what do you need to do? What is our first step? We subtract the 7x from both sides. Oops, we subtract 7x from both sides. So we have 6y equals negative 7x plus 11. And now what do you do? To get the y alone, what do you have to do? Divide individually by 6. So we have y equals negative 7 over 6x plus 11 over 6. So this is the main thing. See, our slope is a negative number. So line has to be decreasing line. So let me actually tell you, how did I do it mentally? I didn't do everything mentally. What did I do? So to find the slope, the shortcut to find slope. All you have to do is you divide x coefficient by the y coefficient. So x over y, and then change the sign. Whatever sign you get, change the sign. So our x coefficient is 7, y coefficient is 6, right? So we have 7 over 6, but then you have to change the sign into negative 7 over 6. That's the shortcut. Mentally, you're going to do this. 7 divided by 6, and then change the sign. Why changing the sign? Because see, we are moving this on the other side, right? So when x and y together, we have to change the sign. Because we're going to move x to the other side. Mohammed. For anything. If you have x and y together, then you can just divide x coefficient by y coefficient and change the sign. It's a shortcut. Okay, so we are happy we found the slope of the given line. What does it tell us? What is the slope of that parallel line? So this symbol actually means parallel. And upside down T, it means perpendicular. Perpendicular. So what is the slope of the parallel line? So if this line has a slope negative 6 over 6, what is the slope of its parallel line? Parallel lines have what type of slope? Same slope, right? So since the given line has this slope, parallel line must have the exact same slope. So it's negative 7 over 6. And now, what is the slope of the perpendicular line? Perpendicular lines have what type of slope? Opposite sign. And then reciprocal of the fraction. So this is positive. Perpendicular line have what sign? So this is negative. So perpendicular line is like positive. And if you flip 7 over 6, it becomes what? 6 over 7. So the perpendicular line will be an increasing line, so that the intersection meets with a 90-degree angle. And yep, you're going to see this in the final. They'll ask you exactly same as this. Find a slope that's parallel or perpendicular or both of a given line. So who is confused? Eliza, right?
So like when they actually then you have to go through the line, the parallel, to find the slope of the parallel.
If they ask you to find the slope of the parallel line, you're focusing on parallel line. But if they ask you to find the perpendicular line, so you're going to focus on the perpendicular.
Like another situation where they're actually from both parallel and perpendicular.
Sometimes they ask parallel, sometimes perpendicular. Rarely they ask for both. Not always, rarely. I think it depends on whomever making the final. So I don't make the final, the department does. And whom from the department make the final, I have no idea. As long as you make no mistake, find the slope, yes, you can use the shortcut. But make sure you show me the work, like slope is this over that, and change sign. Okay, you try one. Remember, if you do your shortcut, it's the x term divided by the y term, x coefficient divided by y coefficient, including their sign, and then change the sign. Any other question? No. I have not. No. Ready? Anaya? Anaya absent? Got it. I have another Anaya in my second class. So your face and her face, I mess up. Like I'm saying Anaya here, but I'm actually imaging her to respond, and I don't see her. So like absent. Joseph, right? Oh, you're Joseph. Huh? Anthony. Okay. Anthony, question or answering me? Which one? Helping me? Okay, go ahead.
So I put the y equals mx format, or
Mhm.
and 5x on both sides.
Negative 5x. So what do you get?
Plus 40
Plus 40.
divided by
So we divide everything by negative 8. So we get,
y equals -5 over dx.
but we have negative 5 over negative 8. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Negative 5 over negative 8. That means you have double negative. What happens to the double negative? Positive. So it's positive 5 over 8x minus 5. Perfect. So what does it mean? What is the slope of the parallel line? X is a variable, so you don't write X. It's just a number in front of X. So you did great. Now what's the slope of the perpendicular line? 8/5. And then the sign must be negative. Because completely opposite. Negative. So positive slope means this line is going upward. So our original line is going upward, increasing. That means its perpendicular must go downward. So it has to have a negative slope in order to go downward. Any question from anyone? Mohammed. Okay, so the shortcut I mentioned is this. So it's x, coefficient of the x divided by coefficient of the y. Coefficient. So coefficient of the x is 5. So we have 5. Coefficient of the y is -8. And then you flip the sign. So it's 5/8 with a positive sign. Which is true. We get the exact same thing. 5/8 with a positive sign. So coefficient of the x divided by coefficient of the y, and then change the sign, whatever sign you have. Any other question? So we are done with fourth scenario. Now we are going to do the fifth scenario, but it's part of the fourth. And they don't ask this question much in the final exam, rarely, okay? So they are saying, well, now you know how to find the slope of the parallel and perpendicular line. Well, now do something extra. Find the equation of the parallel and perpendicular line. So they give us a line and a point. So let's say a line is this way. I'm just drawing one correct because our slope is positive 1/4. So they give us one line and they give us some point here. And they said, well, find the equation of the parallel line and then find the equation of the perpendicular line that is parallel or perpendicular to this line but goes through this point. So if you draw a parallel line, it will be something like this. And if you draw a perpendicular line, it will go something like this. What is the equation of this parallel line and what is the equation of this perpendicular line of that line? That's the story, okay? Now, anytime they give us a line, they give us that line only to get the slope from that line, okay? So if you already see the slope of the given line, you're done. If you don't see the slope of the given line, find it. Convert the equation into y equals mx plus b format so that you can see your m in front of x. In our case, do you see the slope directly? Yep, you're lucky. So you don't have to do that step. We simply go and get the slope of this line. Slope of this line will help us to write the slope of its parallel line, and they already give us a point. So we have the slope of the line and the points for the parallel line and also for the perpendicular line. All you have to do is substitute that slope and the point into this format, and just like before, simplify once you substitute. Okay, so this is same as we are doing step scenario 2. Remember, in the scenario 2, we have a slope and a point, and we found the equation of the line. We are going to do the exact same thing here. The only difference is that slope will sometimes be given to us directly. Sometimes you have to find it to get it. So given line. Our given line is y equals 1/4 of x minus 3. The only thing we care in this line is this thingy, slope. So slope of the parallel line is 1/4. And it's going through the point 6, 7, which is x1, y1. So we are going to find the equation of the parallel line with this information. Slope 1/4 and x1, y1 is 6, 7. Who is confused so far? Is there anybody who did not understand what you're going to do or why you're doing what you're doing? No question? You only know how to find the equation of a line with a slope and a point. So go ahead, find the equation of the line. I'm going to just give you the first part. We are going to substitute into this format. We have the slope, we have x1, y1, substitute everything, and then simplify. Did it mention what format? Find the equation of the line? It did not. Any questions? Once you're done with this, find the equation of the perpendicular line. So perpendicular line will have what slope? What will be the slope of the perpendicular line? -4/1, which is simply -4, the whole number. And we still have same x1, y1, 6, 7. So you're going to the exact same thing. Just our slope is different. Y minus y1, slope, x minus x1. So go ahead, do it twice. Once our slope is 1/4, a fraction. Another time our slope is -4, a whole number. And I'm not doing this now because I already did 2 examples with you. How do you find the equation of the line when you have a slope and y-intercept? So when you have a slope and a point. Right. You feel it, Will?
Yes.
Really? Wow. Then never mind. Let me do it real quick. So here we have y minus our y1 is 7. Our slope is 1/4. X minus our x1 is 6. So y minus 7, you distribute, you get 1/4 of x minus 1/4 of 6. Now 1/4 of 6 means you're multiplying 6 and 1. So you get 6/4. Can you reduce that? They both are divisible by 2. So it simply becomes 3/2. So we have y minus 7, 1/4 of x minus 3/2. You add the 7, or never mind, you get rid of the fraction, that will make your life easy. But if you observe, one of them is 4, one of them is 2. So you actually need LCD of 2 and 4, which is 4. So instead of dividing both sides by 2, you need to divide both sides by 4. So 4 4, 4, 4. So we have 4y minus 28. This 4 cancel out. We have x. And this 2 goes to 4 twice. So you multiply this 3 with this 2, you get 6. How 6? Because you're multiplying by 4, right? So 2 goes to 4 twice, and you have 2 times 3. In other words, you have 3 divided by 2. So finally, you add 28 to both sides. That gives us 4y equals x plus 22. I don't have space, so let me write here. 4y equals x plus 22. We subtract the x. So we have negative x plus 4y is 22. But we don't want our x to be negative. So change the sign for everything. X minus 4y minus 22. We have minus 6 plus 28. There's 22, right? On this side. Minus 6 plus 28. We added 28 because 7 times 4 is 28. So minus 6 plus 28 gives us plus 22. So we have 4y equals x plus 22. We subtract x from both sides. So we get negative x plus 4y is 22. But we don't want to start our equation with negative x. So we change the sign for everything by multiplying by negative 1. So negative x times the positive x, we are happy. We don't care about the positive 4y, it times the negative 4y, and positive 22 times the negative 22. Now for perpendicular line, we do the same thing. It's y minus 7. And this time we don't have a fraction. So our life will be easier. Negative 4x minus 6. We distribute, we get y minus 7 is negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 6, positive 24. And then we just need to add 7. So we get y equals negative 4x plus 31. And the last thing is bring your x from right to the left. So we add the 4x. And this time we got lucky. We didn't have to do anything else. Our x is already positive. 4x plus y is 31. Which part? Tell me which part, I'll help you. Yeah, for some reason, department loves standard form. Yeah, unless the multiple choice doesn't have the standard form, it has different formats. So yeah, thank you everyone for staying 5 more minutes. I will see you again on Thursday. Mm.